Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Francesca. Here I talk about personal finance, investing, business, career and everything else related to that. I'll see you on the other side. So today I wanted to talk to you about a topic that has been hot recently, and that is Bitcoin. So today I woke up this morning and I saw this headline that said Bitcoin hits $1 trillion market cap, surges to fresh all-time peak, from Reuters. And of course, this piqued my interest. If you've been following the news, and most likely if you're on this channel and you're watching this video, then you also know about Bitcoin, you're interested in learning more, then you would have seen, the huge spike in interest that Bitcoin has had in the last few weeks, really. And it has, I would say, officially become the world's most popular cryptocurrency, jumping to an all-time high of now close to $57,000. This has been propelled, I would say, by the big moves that big companies have been doing recently. Famously, Tesla with Elon Musk deciding to invest $1.5 billion of the company's cash reserves into Bitcoin, and big financial platforms such as PayPal, MasterCard, Square all starting to accept Bitcoin and jumping on board the cryptocurrency bandwagon as well. Now, if you're like, hey, wait a second, what is Bitcoin? What are we talking about here? I want to give you a super short and simple introduction to Bitcoin. So it's a cryptocurrency that was invented in 2008 by an unknown person or group of people using the name of Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, I think this is also part of the appeal, of the cryptocurrency and the whole story behind it, this mystery, this not knowing who created it. And there's a super interesting Netflix documentary actually that I watched a few years ago now. I'll link that in the description below. Basically, the currency began use in 2009 when the implementation was released as an open source software. Now, Bitcoin is a decentralized digital currency without a central bank or a single administrator, and it can be sent from user to user, using this peer-to-peer Bitcoin network without the need for intermediaries. Now, this aspect, like the decentralization of Bitcoin, is usually what early supporters found the most interesting and what appealed to them the most, like the non-reliance on big institutions such as central banks. Transactions are verified by network nodes through cryptography, and they are recorded in a public distributed ledger, which is called a blockchain. So blockchain is the technology behind cryptocurrencies. Bitcoins are created as a reward for a process known as mining, which is the validation of these exchanges, and they can be exchanged for other currencies, products, and or services. Now, this is the aspect that I find most problematic. The fact that, not just me, but the fact that Bitcoins are not yet mainstream, and you can't just use them to, go to your corner shop and buy a Coke with, a fraction of a Bitcoin. Is just not something that is happening yet. Now, of course, these institutions and big, household names such as Tesla, etc., they are increasingly understanding and accepting the payments use case for crypto. However, I think we're still a way away from having, that sort of mainstream, broad, all across acceptance that a currency has to have in order to do its job. The foundation of a currency such as dollars is that they are reliable, they're stable, and they are widely accepted for a variety of products, services, and so on and so forth. Bitcoin is not anywhere close that level of acceptance, and so I don't think we can still refer to it as something comparable to the dollar or even gold, really, because some people have been seeing that as a secure store of value, but I don't think we're quite there yet. Consumers, must be able to understand, use, and transact and trust, especially Bitcoin and other crypto transactions, in order for it to become as mainstream as it needs to be incorporated into your day-to-day life. Now, my worry is that a lot of retail investors, such as you and I and and everyone else that is mildly interested in cryptocurrencies and investing, might feel the need to jump on the bandwagon for fear of missing out, basically, because everyone and their mother are now talking about cryptos and how the incredible gains that are to be made from crypto. And so my fear is that a lot of people will just invest and dump a bunch of money into these currencies without really understanding the functioning and technologies and the technical dynamics basically behind cryptocurrencies, and that is very dangerous, as we know. My philosophy for investing is and will always be to just invest in only things that you understand and that you would be comfortable explaining to your grandma or a 5-year-old. So not just based on trends and headlines and in the news. And especially the GameStop saga of a few weeks ago has taught us all what the repercussions can be for everyday retail investors that just invest blindly based on news media cycles, and not really understanding the consequences and implications of their actions, and then just to see big gains overnight but with enormous losses just as quickly. Now, I don't think that GameStop and Bitcoin are in any way comparable, really, when it comes to the actual assets, just because GameStop, we're talking about a stock, like an equity, whereas Bitcoin is a currency, right? So it's very different investment vehicles. However, the buying frenzy in some of the dynamics, kind of caused by the news media cycle, are somewhat similar, I think. Now, all I'm saying is invest some time, into understanding what Bitcoin is, what cryptocurrencies are, and also what blockchain, the underlying blockchain technology is, and how it works, before investing, and then you can make an informed decision as per how it can fit into your long-term investment strategy. Because if you were still wondering by now, I do think that Bitcoin can and even should play a role into anyone's long-term investing strategy, because I do think that it has a lot of potential. I think that is, especially the technology, is going to go places, and it will grow and become more established as we progress and as people learn more about it, and as the investors and big companies that we talked about increasingly start accepting it as a as an exchange of value and of services. But as I said, we're not there yet. The core of this video is, yes, I do believe that you should invest in Bitcoin, and this is what I'm also personally doing. But I think that you should do that within reason, and there are a few caveats, a few key points that I want to stress, and that you should at least think about before you bite the bullet and just dump a bunch of money into Bitcoin. One is that you need to invest money, and you must invest money that you can afford to lose, and this is true for any investment for me. But it is especially true when it comes to such a volatile and unpredictable investment vehicle such as Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency for that matter. Second point is that you need to diversify and don't put all your eggs in one basket. I have heard of people that literally convince their parents to invest their lifetime savings into Bitcoin just because of the crazy returns that the currency has been having in the past few months. But these people also forget about the huge nosedive that the cryptocurrency had just, again, like a few months back, just prior to the huge increase that it has seen recently. So I would advise you against doing that, against just investing all your savings into Bitcoin, but rather diversify, invest in your S&P 500, invest in your total market ETFs, but then do allocate a portion of it into Bitcoin. And yeah, the third point kind of falls within that, but invest just a small percentage, a small portion of your overall portfolio into Bitcoin, and keep the majority into other more traditional and more secure, I guess, instruments, though as we know, equities and investments are by definition risky, right? So now I wanted to show you my asset allocation that I have. You're seeing now a screenshot of all the different assets that I invest into, kind of broadly categorized. You can see that the vast majority of it falls within these stocks and ETFs. So that's 66, that's actually now over that. So 66.5, let's say, % of my overall portfolio is invested in that. And what I mean by that is stocks such as ETFs, such as the S&P 500 and other different ones that I have selected through Trading212, which is my brokerage account of choice. Then you can see another portion is BPER funds. Now BPER is my Italian bank, for those of you who don't know, and it's the very first investment that I ever made was through their investment plans, basically, that you can tailor to an extent. It is semi-active, I want to say actively managed, and it is 100% made up of stocks. Then we have pension funds. This is self-explanatory, but yeah, I'm just matching what my employer matches, which is 4% of what I make, and it's basically free money, so that's why I'm putting it there, but it's not like a focus that I have for now. Like, I just put my 4%, my employer puts 4%, and then I leave it, and that's also made up of stocks 100%. Then we have my emergency fund, which is the only part of my portfolio that is left in cash, so not invested, not working for me right now. And I purposely just want to have a less than 10% in cash, because different factors. The fact that I'm 25 right now, so I have a lot of time to, like, my risk tolerance is quite high at this point. So yeah, I feel comfortable just having 10%, a bit less than 10% in cash. And then we have finally the cryptocurrencies, which you can see now it's actually more. I think it's 3%. But yeah, so all of this to show that it is a tiny portion of what, of my overall portfolio. Cryptocurrencies that I invest in are Bitcoin, of course, and then Ethereum as well. And actually Ethereum was the first currency that I bought, not Bitcoin. And now I think it's a 50-50 split between the two. And I'm happy to go into details about, the differences between the two in another video. I wanted to show you my allocation, how I chose to invest in Bitcoin. And in the future, I plan on investing and plan on keeping investing a small portion of my monthly income into Bitcoin. My plan is to dollar cost average it, just to try and combat at least a bit of that volatility that Bitcoin is known for. And the amount that I'm investing is small compared to the overall portfolio and the overall allocation that I've decided and I have established for myself. Now, I do believe that we will see more growth coming from Bitcoin. This is why I will not be selling my coins that I have. Well, I mean, I wish I had a full coin. I am nowhere close that. But, you get what I mean. I will not be selling my stakes, let's say, in Bitcoin. But I have chosen to see it more as a fun investment rather than my, core asset, or like the core asset underlying my investment strategy. The main takeaway I think that I have for you is do your research, try and understand Bitcoin, try and understand cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology and how that works. And I think it's 100% an interesting, potentially store of value to be seen as very risky. So hopefully this video gave you a bit of an introduction to Bitcoin, a bit of an introduction to my views and my personal strategy, and how I think it can play into a successful overall investment strategy for the long term. And having said that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!